As we potentially launch into another wave with the Omicron variant starting to spread, we don't know how serious it'll be. Let's just admit that up front. We don't know how safe vaccines will make us in the face of it, but we did just experience Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming, people are traveling, and last year that led to a lot of extra COVID. So what might that look like? Well, we know that the now long established partisan gap in COVID cases and deaths is continuing to spread. As of April of this year, the most red and most blue counties in the country began to diverge on vaccination rates. And gee, what do you think that will lead to? Well, the areas that are most strongly for Biden are fully vaccinated at a rate 40% higher than the rate for counties that voted most strongly for Trump. And let's take a look at what that looks like between February, the beginning of the pandemic of last year, and November of this year. Well, the red line is the super Trumpy area. And you can see that they're getting something like 50% more cases. They're getting something like 50% more deaths. And oh, what do you know? They have something like almost 50% less vaccination. It's weird, like, because I know intellectually that those things can't be connected, because I get my news from Tucker Carlson. And he has on experts like Alex Berenson, who I guess must be a doctor or something, saying that vaccinations don't actually work. And I find out from all these people that all you need to do is take ivermectin. So I guess the right wingers are taking less ivermectin because they're getting and dying from COVID at much higher rates. And we've done this story before, by the way. We check in every couple months. It continues. The divergence gets stronger and stronger because these people are not getting vaccinated. And let me show you the partisan split in vaccination. 1/4 of US adults say they haven't gotten a COVID-19 vaccine. But when you break it down in partisan lines, it's a huge gap. So let's see, 60% of those identifying as a Republican haven't. Okay, 1 in 6 Democrats hasn't. That's still too high for the Democrats, but this is just, this is the most logical story that we've ever covered. They're not taking it seriously, so they're getting COVID more and they're dying for it more. And that is amounting to hundreds of extra Republicans dying every single day by choice because they believe the wrong people.
Well, I just want to address real quick the 17%. I think it's the 1 in 6 for many Democrats. I think it may even cross political lines as far as this. There's probably a decent percentage of people who have issues with organizing it, planning, going. People have issues with appointments. I would assume it's one of the reasons people just don't generally go to the doctor. One of the reasons I don't. Maybe. So it's the thing, like, and I can go to the doctor tomorrow, but many times it's like, but can I squeeze that in? Or maybe someone has a job that they really never get any time off. There's many things and reasons that people may not get it. Now, we see the overarching is just the stupidity or the believing of Tucker Carlson. So even for the people who have issues getting to something or organizational skills or all that stuff, look out for them too, right? So if you have this, the time and capabilities, that's one of the reasons to do it. Or people just with issues with getting vaccines or having pre-existing type of conditions. So just to get that out of the way, because everyone, I don't think should be demonized if they can't, because there's a percentage that can't. So anyways.
Sure, yeah, right.
And that's more reason for people who can to do it, you know? So as we see that when things are broken down on partisan lines like this, it's directly from a messaging to a receiving point of view. There's no way this many groups of people within an ideological mindset just happen to be the ones catching it because they happen to be not doing the things that there's not a groupthink going around. We know the Republican Party has groupthink. We know the Democratic Party to a degree has groupthink as well. But to a lesser degree, that's why you have so much more infighting. You have the progressive wing versus the central wing. You have all that happening more. And so you'll get those fringes, but it won't be based off of stupidity. It'll be based off of different ways that we can see and possibly approach this. So I just want to point out that there's those things when it comes to at least protecting others and just getting it. But that goes out the window too when it comes to the Republican thing.
You're 100% right. And look, I will just quickly say, it sometimes bothers me. Like we try to do our best. You've been working for TRT way longer than I have. I've been working here for going on near 10 years. And we try to get people to be reasonable and rational, to care about their fellow man, to believe the government has an obligation to do better, to believe that there is a better world that we can try to achieve. And in policy terms, much of what we push for hasn't happened. And that really bothers me, that people are still so irrational, more so than they were when I started this seemingly, that we haven't gotten a progressive president and all that. Those failures bother me so much. But if I knew that I was actively every day encouraging people to throw their lives away, I don't understand what it would take to make me okay with that. And yet, I look, to be fair, I haven't been in their homes. I assume they're very nice. And I assume they have a very, very nice cars and all of that. So I don't know if that makes Tucker Carlson and Dave Rubin and the others feel better about what they're doing. I guess the leather must be very plush.
Yeah,
anyway, really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No, because there's a small stat, because you point out how much worse things are than they were before. Just from last December, there's a story I saw this morning. So in the Omaha area, there's 57 people on ventilators as of yesterday. There was 56 on ventilators December 7th of 20. So about a year ago, one fewer people, and there's a new record now because 56 was the tops. Last December, there was no vaccine available.
Yeah.
This year, there's one more on a ventilator. Of course, their capacity, like we've been seeing, but there's a vaccine available. So when we're talking trends, that's a really bad trend. When you got more people that are on ventilators this year versus people that when you didn't have access to doing something, we're on a bad trajectory.
Insane. Super fast, I want to let you know about this. 4 states, Iowa, Tennessee, Florida, and Kansas, have changed their rules on unemployment. You know, because like people are losing their jobs, they want to make sure that they get unemployment benefits. But wait, specifically to include people who've been terminated or who have chosen to leave their jobs because of vaccine mandates. Isn't that amazing? Wow. This is a political movement that all last year, like let's go to these headlines. July 2020, GOP relief plan slashes unemployment benefits by 43% for average workers. 10 Senate Republicans back bill ending the $300 a week unemployment benefits by June. They spent like a year and a half telling you, you shouldn't get any aid, you're being lazy, go back to, vaccine mandates, well, here's some cash. Let's get some cash on you. Yeah, this isn't a partisan thing though. They finally found an unemployed worker that they give a damn about, and it's someone who chose not to continue to work because they didn't want to get a vaccine.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.